I'm Courtney Cannell, Government Affairs and Regulatory Affairs. I support Progress Texas for equality for all, specifically for transgender and women's rights. Can I get a ballot to vote by mail in Texas here? Well, that would be my top of my wish list.
It's Wednesday, April 30th, 2025, and this is the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch, rapid response on the breaking news stories Texas progressives need to know. I'm Chris Mosier. Two stories related to the Texas abortion ban to lead this morning. Nadia Lathan at the Associated Press writes that in a unanimous vote yesterday, the Texas Senate approved changes that lawmakers of both parties now agree will clarify medical exceptions to that ban, specifically SB 31. After ongoing extensive modifications to address concerns from advocates on both sides of the abortion debate, allows Texas doctors to perform an abortion if a patient is experiencing a life-threatening condition and not necessarily one actively injuring the patient. Language designed to eliminate situations in which doctors were allowing patients to actually approach death's door before intervening. There appears to be consensus on the sensibility of the move, but nothing changes here about the draconian nature of our abortion laws in Texas that still force victims of rape or incest to carry the children of their attackers to term, and still deny women of childbearing age in Texas the basic bodily autonomy that their mothers and their grandmothers took for granted under Roe v. Wade. Austin State Senator Sarah Eckhart told the AP, quote, "I will vote for it, but this policy is no less cruel for being made clear," unquote. Houston State Senator Molly Cook echoes that sentiment, saying, quote, "Reproductive health care is broken in Texas, and it is due to the actions of this legislature. SB 31 is not a complete solution. I voted yes because if these clarifications save even one life, it will be worth it," unquote. Even mildly good news on this particular topic coming out of the Texas State Capitol wouldn't be complete without some bad news to cancel it out. Eleanor Klibanoff at the Texas Tribune says that same Texas Senate preliminarily passed a bill that, should it be signed into law, would be the most wide-ranging crackdown on abortion-inducing drugs in the United States. Senate Bill 2880 would allow anyone who manufactures, mails, or delivers abortion pills to someone in Texas to be sued for $100,000 using the same vigilante structure introduced in 2021 that allowed private citizens to target each other with lawsuits. Notably, one of the changes made to the aforementioned and unanimously passed clarification bill, SB 31, was an amendment stating that bill was neutral on the question of whether or not old laws banning abortion in Texas were still on the books or not. Dallas Senator Nathan Johnson pressed Republican Senator Brian Hughes to add a similar clarification to SB 2880, which Senator Hughes refused. The Trojan horse may be slipping through the gates after all. We note that all 11 Democrats voted no here. The bill now heads to the House, where Klibanoff believes it will face stronger opposition. We shall soon see. It's one of those mornings where the right-wing bullshit machine is firing on all cylinders, so our work is cut out for us here. One notable poo-poo purveyor has been spreading his unique brand of manure in Texas these last few days. Trump U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was hanging out with Texan and Trump U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins at her alma mater, Texas A&M, yesterday, as he continued to both downplay and outright lie about the ongoing measles outbreak, contending that new measles case detections are slowing when they are not. New parts of the spread include El Paso, which reported 11 new cases just yesterday, a 45% increase since the beginning of last weekend. In fact, The Guardian reports the statewide measles case count has risen to 663, 87 hospitalizations, as researchers have warned that the United States of America in 2025 has found itself at a tipping point for the return of endemic measles, a quarter century after the disease was declared eradicated via a hard-fought battle led by vaccines. This is now spread not only across the border into New Mexico, but Indiana, Kansas, Michigan, Montana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Tennessee are now battling their own measles outbreaks, even as RFK continues to downplay and to lie. Kennedy and Rollins also took their bullshit tour to Hill County, south of DFW, where WFAA's Rebecca Lopez asked Kennedy about growing alarm among rural Texas ranchers over forever chemical contamination in biosolids that's resulted in both crop and livestock loss. RFK expressed concern, but when asked if his agency and others under the Trump regime would enforce a Biden-era rule requiring cities to remove forever chemicals from their drinking water, he yet again equivocated and dodged a direct answer. Still more right-wing bullshit to tackle this morning. The Texas Tribune released a report by Stephen Simpson back last Friday casting doubt upon data released by the Texas Health and Human Services Commission that Texas hospitals had incurred $121.8 million in health care costs in November of 2024 from patients who were not lawfully permitted to be in the country. Policy experts have deep doubts about this data, including Len Cowles, Health and Food Justice Programs Manager at Every Texan, who points out that $121.8 million is a drop in the bucket compared to the incurred costs from all the uninsured people in a state with the highest uninsured rate in the country, and noting this data was collected on an opt-in basis, thus not painting the full picture. But that didn't stop Fox News from just this morning, just a couple of hours ago, publishing an article with the headline, "Illegal Immigrants Cost Texas Hospitals Nearly $122 million in 1 month." It matters where you get your news, and if you're getting it from Fox News, you simply are not getting the truth. As we've talked about, May Day rallies and protests are happening around Texas tomorrow. We have information linked in the show notes about a few happening in our bigger cities, but it's worth touching one more time this morning that with Donald Trump doing insane things lately and his first 100 days popularity rating at historic lows, there are lately a lot more people interested in these events and in progressive politics than there were just months ago. And that's a great thing, but with this flood of interest may come people and new groups with their own agendas, which may or may not line up with yours. It's important to maintain your individual perspective and discipline at rallies and protests and not to allow yourself to be led into dangerous or illegal behavior. Just because someone has a megaphone doesn't mean they're in charge. These growing gatherings are a great thing, again, but it's up to each of us personally to do it right if we want to achieve our goals. Speaking of which, not only is voting essential, but voting is fun, and progressive Texans should be voting in every election every time. Early voting ended yesterday, and Election Day is coming up on Saturday, May the 3rd. Most county websites will have a sample ballot you should download and spend a bit of time with beforehand. Lots more on voting in Texas at our online resource, govotetexas.org. San Antonio and Austin friends, Progress Texas is proud to welcome San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg as our guest for a live podcast taping at our Party for Progress on Tuesday, May the 6th, and you're invited. We look forward to a long overdue visit to Alamo City. Again, mark that date, Tuesday, May 6th, live pod taping with Mayor Ron Nirenberg and good fun with you in San Antonio. See the show notes and get your tickets right now thanks to Austin Kaplan and the Kaplan Law Firm, Nicolette Ardiente, Shannon Hernseer, Will Judy, Tracy Miller, Jeremy Nelson, Julianne Reeves, Patricia Smothers, Holly Taylor, and more for their generous support of our San Antonio Party for Progress. And DFW and North Texas friends, please mark your calendars for Monday, June the 9th. That's our 15th anniversary celebration in Dallas. Look forward to seeing y'all there as well. Our mission at Progress Texas is to counter the conservative disinformation machine, but they far outmatch us in funding. Oil and tech billionaires and religious right-wing activist groups spend a lot of money keeping their audiences in the dark. If you've come to appreciate the light we shine on important political news in Texas on a daily, ongoing basis, please know that our regular everyday listeners form a key component of our funding. If that's you, we could use your support as a monthly contributor, and no amount is too small. Go to progresstexas.org/donate like Bill Holst and Joseph Gorman and Timothy Mahoney all have lately. We appreciate all of y'all very much. That's the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch for this Wednesday, April 30th, 2025. Links to all these original stories can be found in our show notes. Progress Texas is a nonprofit rapid response media organization promoting progressive messages and actions. While campaigns come and go, we're the permanent home for progressive media and action in the Lone Star State. I'm Chris Mosier. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day. We'll see you again tomorrow morning.